Run is out. Run is out. Yeah. Hey, Cleveland roots with a reckless style. Take so bold, they're flagrant foul. House on the ice, Notre Dame pride. Wrestle and talk about culture, rival, rich to Nate. It's full court wild. Sit back, press play, it's flagrant foul. Yeah, it's flagrant foul.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 6 of Flagrant Foul. I'm Nate here with my boy Rich. Had some technical difficulties a little bit, as per usual.
Par for the course.
Rich over here is having some identity issues. Apparently, kept saying that his name was Nate. So
I'm flustered. It's been a bad week, so I'm going to jump in right off the bat here. About 4 weeks ago, I feel like optimism was at an all-time high. Our emotions were like all positive. We were bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, as they say. And then fast forward to now, 0-4. Football sucks. Our team's disappointing, per usual. I don't know how much more of this I can take, Nate, so I did change it up a little. I went with guards while they're not in a playoff position and probably won't be in the postseason. At least they've been streaking. I think they were 9-1 when I looked last. Little Cleveland guards love. But back to football. Notre Dame, how do you go from we're in a national championship game, 2 games into the season, 2025 season over? I don't even know. What do you think, Nate?
this is honestly exactly how last year started, and I think that when it's all said and done, either this year or next year, they're going to be much better than they were this past season, especially with the 26 recruits coming in next year. But they started off slow last year. Snuck out a win versus Texas A&M last year, week 1, and took it up the hoop against NIU in week 2. So it's not like this is anything new for Notre Dame. They just happened to get their 2 best games week 1 and 2 before they figured it out. I mean, genuinely, they ended up being a great team last year and figured it out. Won out, made the national championship game, but they didn't have a passing touchdown until I think either week 3 or week 4. After Riley Leonard was taken out of the game. I want to say it was week 3. They were up big, so Riley Leonard got benched, and Steve Angeli had to come in and get the passing touchdown, the first one of the year. So it's not anything different. I think it was 2 years ago they played Ohio State week 1, lost that. They're just not a good team early. So I'm not really surprised. I'm sure they'll figure it out. I think CJ Carr did fine.
I think they're a better team than we're feeling right now. Didn't fall out of the top 25s. I think that does speak to the strength of the schedule. Miami, and they're proving to be a pretty tough team right now. Miami game 1 on the road was tough. And that sucked, and I hated losing it, but I felt like, okay, we'll recover. We're going to run the table on this. The A&M game, that sucked at home, so not looking good on the road or at home. Here's where it gives me concern, and I do think their future is bright the next couple of years. CJ Carr is not Riley Leonard. He doesn't have the feet to keep them in games like Riley did, and quite honestly, the accuracy on the passes has been pretty bad. And I'm not going to fault all him. I mean, A&M's line, the protection that dude was getting compared to what Notre Dame's providing for CJ. I mean, he's not getting the protection. The running game to get going, man, they probably have the best running back tandem in the country, if you ask me. Love both those guys, look great, but I think what sucks so bad is to be 0-2 and really need a lot to happen to even think about having a conversation and making the top 12. To lose that game on a hold, and again, that's 2 weeks in a row. Fucking kicking. Can we get rid of kicking in football?
That wasn't even the kicker's fault. That was
I know, but if we
Tyler
didn't kick,
Buckner, which I don't know why Tyler Buckner is still on a football team. That dude's terrible. We tried him out one time. He left. I don't know why we thought he should come back. He's bad. He couldn't. He was playing quarterback. He can't even hold a kick.
1,000,000% not the kicker's fault. It's just the kicking adventures in kicking driving me nuts. We'll throw punting in there too. We'll get into that later with the Browns game, but it's just a suck way to end. They really should have won that game. It is what it is, but
I guess the silver lining to all this is two best opponents of the season, two ranked opponents. Your crunching and swallowing is distracting me.
I'm sorry, folks.
But two ranked opponents, two best opponents of the season, they lose by a combined 4 points. So it wasn't as bad as like it makes it seem. Like we are the first 0-2 team to be ranked top 25 since 1988, and they're not making the playoffs. There's literally every team in the top 20 has to lose a game. I feel like there's going to be plenty of undefeated teams. Oregon will probably be undefeated. Penn State or Ohio State's going to be undefeated. There's going to be so many undefeated teams that like
Well, there'll be one.
our
So
schedule.
here's good, right? Like it's not going to make a difference, but you got then in the top 10 right now, you got Ohio State, Penn State, Illinois, and Oregon. Like only one of those teams is coming out of that with one loss.
Yeah.
Realistic, right? With the championship game, I guess things they have going in their favor, and you're right, they're not making the playoffs, but they do have.
I mean,
Pitt,
their
which could
schedule
be-
just does not have, like, if they were playing a Big Ten schedule, they could probably sneak in. But the fact that you lose to your two ranked opponents, it does, no matter whether you lost by 100 or you lost by 1, you're not playing anybody good the rest of the season. Like, you need I guess they need their opponents to have good seasons and try to break through the top 25 for them to, like,
yeah.
count as anything. But, like, they definitely should win out. If they don't win out, they're not making the playoffs, obviously. But even if they do win out, like they should, they're playing poop teams. It doesn't matter. They're on to next year. I think it'll be a good year of practice for CJ Carr going into next year with a year under his belt. It'll probably be a very solid team, but
Not much chemistry with the receivers at the moment. He's a young guy, so I agree with you. I think future's still bright, but we need A&M and Miami to just absolutely throttle teams, which they look pretty good early on. The USC's on their schedule, and USC is 25. So if we can get a couple opponents on the initial schedule that didn't look great, all of a sudden maybe are a little bit tougher, and those two losses end up being against two really tough teams. But I mean, overall, I guess at the end of the day, whether they make the playoffs or they don't make the playoffs, they're not winning a national championship this year, so it's irrelevant. So now if we can have positive, they finish the season looking tough. They're young going into next year, go to a bowl, win a bowl. I can live with that. And it is what it is. I just think the perpetual football disappointment this year, I'm about ready for hockey to start. It's making me crazy. We jumped on the South Florida train last year. It gave them all of our good luck so they could get hooped by Miami. But so it's not looking great. So if you see Nate and Rich coming, jumping on your bandwagon, you're getting ready to take an L because we are a jinx right now. I don't know. I don't know if we need to sacrifice a chicken or bury a goat or do something, but we got to get off the schneid. It's definitely frustrating.
I told Kale we need to just, after that Browns game, we need to just go watch musicals and we're done doing sports. There's plenty of other entertaining things that you don't get disappointed in.
You know what? That's a good point. We're going to jump on the Kale's Illinois train. We just became Illinois fans. Sorry,
They're going
Kale.
to lose to Ohio State. He's not even an Illinois fan.
He's going to Illinois, so he's got to be some kind of bit of an. But I will say this. So, Ohio State looked like absolute dog shit in the first half last week. Ended up blowing out OU. So who knows? That's probably hard to get up for those games. But as much as I don't like them, Penn State looks pretty good, and they're playing same sort of a schedule. Penn State looks pretty tough. Pretty disappointed with LSU looking good. Brian Kelly sucks. Dislike him greatly, so bothers me that they're doing well. But, the rest of it, it's the usual suspects, your Georgia, Oregon's, Texas. So we'll see what happens. But
Arch
Ohio
Manning
State,
is terrible.
dude, it's, I feel bad for him, though, because it's like, you have those two guys as uncles, right? And then you've barely played, and it's all Arch Manning's going to come out next year.
No, but he's just bad.
He might actually be bad.
No,
I don't know.
At some point, the jitters, the freshness is gonna fade, and at some point, you got to think that he would be comfortable and be able to just like if you could play football, you could play football. Like, first game versus Ohio State, be nervous, be anxious, whatever. But, like, you're playing bad teams now. You should be putting up, like, 500 yards.
So, do you remember, like, a couple years ago when we were, like, Eli and Arch were spotted on a Notre Dame visit, and we were all getting, like, hyped and all that?
Yes.
We dodged a bullet. We dodged a bullet there. That's all
Yeah.
I'm gonna say. It's not awesome. So anyway, well,
Yeah.
who we got this week? Who's Notre Dame? They gotta get a dub, right?
I don't even know.
Like their
'cause
schedule
I'm
their
not
schedule
watching
gets
anymore.
drastically they got Purdue.
This should be a
So wait, can we
get
have an
back
honest
on track
discussion?
game.
Here's what happens. We oversell how good our teams are going to be. We talk a lot of shit. They fail us. We melt down. We hate them and are never watching them again. And then somewhere
Dame is
around
not
Monday,
losing to Purdue.
Tuesday, about Monday, Tuesday, we start coming back around and we're back on the bus. So we both know we're watching Notre Dame this week.
I'm not
They're
going to be happy
be
about it.
I'm
They're
going to watch
not
them.
losing to Purdue, though.
Listen, there won't be a smile on my face the entire time. I'm going to be upset about it, but I'm going to be there. I'm going to be.
The only path to the playoffs for Notre Dame is for teams to lose. Their opponents, maybe they have good seasons, but at the very least, the one thing that they can control, you're playing a bunch of terrible teams. You have to score triple digits on every single one of them. CJ Carr has to put up 10 touchdowns. Jeremiah Love, 10 touchdowns. Like, the only thing that they can control to possibly sneak in at the 12 spot, they have to destroy them. We can't be beating Purdue by a field goal. We can't be like Jeremiah Love gets 20 rushing yards and squeak out a 28-21 win. Like, we have to win by 7 scores. That's the only thing that they can control.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I hope. Well, I'm feeling rather pessimistic. They prove us wrong. And, we sneak in as a 12 and, maybe make a little noise, but we'll see what happens. So I tried to prolong. I spent 14 minutes trying to get myself in a better headspace so I can talk about these Cleveland Browns. I know we come into every year with the full expectation of a 17-0 and a Lombardi. And I knew the first 7 games were going to be really hard. But we're not going to talk a bunch of shit and then go do that. You don't go and talk and put stuff in the press, which I will tell you the other day, I was all for it. I was like, you know what? Win or lose, not going to make a difference talk. It's more the embarrassment factor. Don't go run your mouth and then get your picture, which I don't know if you heard about that. Judy got thrown up on the Jumbotron beforehand. And then go out there and just lay an absolute egg. That was frustrating. It's just
Delpit comments about Derrick Henry. They took care of him. He didn't do anything. So his comments are valid. Jerry Jeudy, he had the drop season in Denver, and it started to seem like he was possibly turning it around here. That dude cannot catch. I'm getting Njoku rookie season flashbacks, Anthony Schwartz flashbacks. Like, we don't have anybody. Like, that's why Rashard Higgins and Donovan Peoples-Jones were the 2 greatest Browns receivers in the past 10 years, because they're not the quickest guys, but they're going to run their route, and you put the ball in their area, they're going to catch it. Like, that is all we need. DeAndre Hopkins on the Ravens, he's 86 years old. He's 1 foot out the door, and he just catches everything. Like, we just need a guy like that.
Let me counterpoint you, though, on that one, because I agree with you. He's definitely starting to show the dropsies. Here's the difference between Higgins, DPJ. You essentially had Baker and another guy. Like, you've had Flacco, you've had Watson, you've had Winston, you've had Dylan. Like, I mean, and I'm not making excuses for him. Catch a freaking ball. You're a number 1. Do better. But where's there going to be any chemistry? We're cycling quarterbacks in like we're changing underwear. So, I mean, there's not going to be chemistry. But I guess my bigger point is, like, I don't care. Like, talk shit, back it up. I don't care. All that. It's just, I'm tired of playing the Pittsburghs on Monday night when we're coming back and getting absolutely dog shit on. I'm tired of having the Ravens do their 30th anniversary celebration while they play the Browns. We talk all week, get dog shit on. Like, at some point, we need to have some pride. And they're a better team, so it is what it is. I think, the defensive line was awesome yesterday, but they can't carry a game. You've sold me, because I will say this. I was a little worried about that alternate spot from Sunshine at linebacker. Devin Bush had a great game yesterday. I thought he
Devin
played
Bush
good.
has been
Devin
very
Bush
solid.
has looked really good. I'm feeling
The
okay through
defense
there.
honestly looked fine.
Even the
Held
secondary,
strong. They held strong until the floodgates opened, then it just got out of hand. It got to the point where
100%.
they put the ball anywhere, and it's just going to come down. And Mitchell might
Yes.
be blind.
And
Aside
who's
from him-
another, a surprising point in that back end? I think Greg has played pretty good.
He's been good.
You know what the biggest thing with him is too? Because I've seen him ball hawk a little bit, but usually he's got we're gonna lay the shoulder and ball hawk and then miss. He's wrapping
I think
guys
his
up
tackling.
and
I was
making
going to say.
tackles. He looks.
I think
a
his
lot
tackling has
better.
been good. His coverage has been fine, but his tackling has been good. Denzel's tackling has been subpar.
Game 1 was all right. This last game was.
This
not a
last
great
game,
for him.
Denzel did not look great. Cam Mitchell is bad. They need to go get Asante Samuel Jr., Stephon Gilmore. They got to do something because the Ravens knew that was our weak link, and they picked it apart all game.
With all that said, though, so Flowers embarrassed us. But I will say, if you get any sort of sustained offense and we stop turning the ball over, they don't put 41 points up on us.
They don't even have the ball that long.
Yeah,
we kept punting.
no.
We barely had any possession.
I mean, you
At
take
this
14.
point-
you take the punt and the other. That's 14 points off the board right there. If we could have any sort of consistency, I'm at this point in the season, I'm actually pleasantly surprised in both games with the defense, pretty much from top to bottom. Guys are going to get burned in this league. The league caters towards an aerial attack. They want offense. So, I can get pissed off and say, guys, don't cover. I get more mad when guys are trying to I'm trying to go for the big hit and I don't wrap and he gets burned. If you get burned on a deep ball or a jump ball, you have elite receivers in this league. We're protecting the quarterback and you're going to get those. But on the offensive side of the ball, I'm telling you, our O-line is exactly what I thought it would be. It's going to be a beat-up O-line. Jedrick, what do you call it?
Dewan Jedrick Jones.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought he was actually going to be decent. Zinter was a perfect draft pick because he's made of glass like everybody else do. Can't get on the field. Not that I think
honestly,
he's good.
I don't even feel like the O-line has been that bad. It's just Joe Flacco is speed walking. I don't even think he's trying to run. And at this point, he is terrible. I told everybody, everyone's like, oh, Flacco, I'm so happy Flacco's back in Cleveland. He is not good. He went to Indianapolis last year and didn't do anything. That pick he threw, if you're going to throw that ball, you may as well put the rookies in because they could do that. That interception.
Can he bend his knees? He is so to your, I agree with you. So I will say on some of the running game was serviceable yesterday. I am more bent at the selection of runs than I am the run blocking. On the pass blocking side, we're not going to get much better than that. So even whether it's the line or Flacco slow or whatever, him with that line is a recipe for disaster. And while they probably weren't planning on seeing Dylan, you can see with just a little bit of it being able to extend the plays and move it out. I think you got to go with them, right? Especially at this point now, we're not winning anything. You got 2 picks next year. Now I'm not suggesting throw these guys out even this weekend. I know. Hey, newsflash, folks, I had a meltdown at the game last week. It took me 2 games. Completely flipped out and lost my shit. However, I was put everybody in, play the rookies. I kind of don't want to see them this week because they're going to get absolute butthole this weekend against the freaking
But this
Green
feels
Bay. Get through this game, let it play.
Green Bay has had a very good 2 games, but this past weekend felt the same to me, but and they got shellacked to say the least, but this feels like a accident. We accidentally pull this one out, and I don't know why.
Maybe.
Just that's what they do. They don't win the games they're supposed to, and then they just accidentally beat a good team and then go 1-16. But honestly, Flacco's decision making, bad. He has enough time in the pocket, but I don't think that the receivers aren't helping him much. Harold Fanning
He had a
Jr.
couple hospital balls.
Harold
I'll tell
Fanning
you,
Jr.
even on
is
that-
going to the Hall of
dude.
Fame. I know that.
Even Judy had to like get the ball down. He was getting, and those guys weren't, but he was getting people freaking hit. The ball, like his accuracy wasn't super great. He's slow. It was a great story 2 years ago. He's not our future. So my
No,
point
I don't
is,
understand why we're wasting our time. I don't get why he's here. I don't
yes,
know why they're letting him play. He's not winning a Super Bowl here. Your career's over, bro. Like,
I'd even be
I
okay
don't
if
get
you want to
why.
play a rookie and do the same thing. Bring Bailey up and let him back up. Be your vet backup for right now, and play Dylan. And we'll keep Shador for the emergency. And then if that doesn't pan out, let's see what we got in Shador. I don't know. I just feel like the one bright spot this year is, particularly early. I'm not putting gold jackets on these guys. Looks to be probably as far from what I've seen. I think this is the best draft class that we've had since they've returned. The
I
rookies
100%
look
agree.
awesome. So, I mean, wouldn't you want to see what you have in a cart? Because let's say these guys work out, you go into the draft with the picks that you have next year, and you don't have to waste it on a quarterback. Yeah, because God knows we need linemen, we need a number one receiver, we need some linebacker help, and we need to get younger in the secondary. I don't want to have to go into that draft throwing a dart to maybe get a decent quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I've seen enough from Flacco, to be honest. I don't think he did spectacular in the first game. He did his job. And the second game, he didn't do anything. So, I mean, we know the rookies can do that. We know they can throw interceptions and accidentally score a touchdown like he did. Like that, he had no business getting that touchdown. But I think that the 3 seconds that we saw Gabriel, he came in, made a quick read, handed the ball off 16 times. Then even that touchdown pass, I thought it was perfectly placed right where nobody can get it except for Samson. I mean, I think he looked fine, and I think that he has the mobility of all the quarterbacks. Like, to be honest, I know he's not available right now, but I would much rather see Deshaun than Joe Flacco right now.
Yeah,
There's nothing in Joe Flacco. We're not gonna be a good team this year. He's maybe got one more year after this. Why are we wasting our time with this? Like, at least if Deshaun plays and he pans out, he pans out. But if he's bad, he's bad. We know that. But like, we're not winning the Super Bowl
it
this year,
does
so we
solve
don't
a
need to go.
problem.
We don't need to go win 8, 9 games, not make the playoffs, and then have a bad draft pick. Like,
Yeah.
that's what Flacco gets us. If Deshaun goes out and plays good, then we're a good team. Or he goes out and takes a dub, then we have a good draft pick. Or the same with the rookies. Like, Flacco's gonna be mid, and he's gonna give us a 15 overall pick. We're gonna miss out on everybody good, and then we're gonna be stuck taking Jedrick Wills Jr. probably, like some random lineman that doesn't matter. I don't get it. I think that
I mean,
there's
from
no
what
reason
you're
for Flacco.
seeing too and hearing out of the Watson camp, and let me just be on record as saying I can't stand him. But if he does force our hand to bring him back, we already know we don't need Joe. Fine, let's jettison Joe. We'll throw Watson in, and he can be a backup quarterback, and we can play the rookies. That solves your problem. And if he doesn't like it, you can stay on the pup list. I mean,
I really would. At this point, I think that Flacco's just like everything he does is so slow that like people are complaining about Deshaun not getting rid of the ball, running around. At least he runs around. Flacco
yeah.
like tries to run around and then gets sacked. Like his decision making is just as bad and slow. I mean, at least the upside, if it pans out with a rookie with Deshaun, is okay. We got our guy for at least this year. If next year they end up being a turd, like whatever. But at
Yeah.
least there's something to build off of. Joe Flacco is going to be gone this year or
Yeah.
next year. Like, I don't understand why we're wasting our time.
So most exciting thing to me after seeing basically hitting the tight end, setting up our running backs in the flat to get smoked, and then basically no catches by Judy and volleyball sets by Cedric Tillman was watching Gabriel connection to Jamari Thrash. Because if Gabriel comes in and basically has some rapport because he's been working with these guys and he starts hitting some of these young receivers, I'll tell you, who's not played bad? He hasn't got many touches. Isaiah Bond. I think he's going to be something. I think Thrash
They need
could
to
be
play
something.
him more.
They
He's
do.
a NFL
He had-
receiver. He is gonna, if he gets wide open, I'm sure he can catch the ball. Like, why is he not running a streak every play? He's faster than everybody on the
Successful
field.
reverse. Successful reverse.
That was a good
And-
reverse.
More
That was a good
elusive
reverse.
than Sasquatch himself was a successful Browns reverse. But that worked out. The other thing I like seeing it, I've been highly critical of Kevin over the last several years. I'm curious to see, is he truly been given any votes of confidence? Is he on the hot seat? I mean, you got to look at this as a little bit of a mini reload. So I got to think he's getting a little bit of a leash. But, I like some of the sets, like having Fannin lining up at fullback and using him in the passing game. Like, there's some creativity to get our playmakers on the field. Man, I mean, you can get you get a Samson with Fannin and Joku and a Bond. Like, you start getting guys as weapons. If there's a protection, people aren't getting open. They got to be getting open, right? I mean, I think we have potential. So the other thing with Joe, I'll bring up too. I don't care what he says. We're 0-2. Both those defenses we played, dog crap. We haven't played our tough defenses yet.
The Bengals defense is bad. The Ravens defense is solid. Kyle Hamilton is good. Marlon Humphrey is good. Roquan Smith was everywhere yesterday. Everywhere. Roquan Smith is very good. I don't think that they have a bad defense.
They're mid in my book. I will say the one thing that made me feel better about yesterday, and I hope this made you feel better. Kansas City Chiefs 0-2.
That did make me feel better.
That made me feel great. And think about this. They're like a field goal away from the Browns only being a game out of first place. If Cincinnati, and I'm not even worried about Cincinnati right now, but we're literally like 1-2, 1-1, 1-1, 1-1. But
yeah,
I put in the cart before the horse. We got to win a game.
What did you think about Judkins? I think considering he had like 1.5 real practices, I was pleasantly surprised. I think that we have two very good running backs and two very good tight ends with Harold and all them. I think that there is some promising upside if we can figure out the rest of it.
Yeah, I think, I definitely have I hope that Sanders, we can, because I think we're going to have to try to clear him on waivers. I hope he can clear waivers this week and make the practice squad because I think he's good injury depth. I like him. Despite my comments last week, so I think Judkins looked good on a short week, really short week, right? I hope that they can get into a rhythm because it was a little bit disjointed, I think, so that we truly can see a Samson Judkins tandem. And we weren't playing great, but, I don't want to forget that, Samson had a great first week, so let's not forget about using him in the passing game and using our third down back.
I would like to see them become Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Like
I would love it. Now,
carries.
With all of that said, I was all for jettisoning him next week. Drumford had an okay game. He had an okay game. He's not going to be well, I think as a third back, though, he can hold the fort down. He can protect the ball. I think he's good on his blocking assignments. I think for number 3, he's like, you got to have a little bit of an old reliable, and I'm, going into the year, you heard it at receiver, right? So you saw people go, I'm like, we don't truly have a vet. We got a bunch of guys that are with a lot of upside. And I was like, so excited about their upside. I wasn't worried. I think we could have used a vet. A sure-handed vet would have been really nice. And I think having a vet in Jerome with those two is probably not the worst thing. Now, what I saw against the Bengals, I was ready to boot him, but he's not going to get that many carries if Judkins and Samson are healthy. And I thought he played all right yesterday. So, if I got it kind of right in, at this point, if we're trying to be competitive, I don't know what I have in Sanders. And the fact of the matter is the guy's probably not going to get nearly enough carries to develop behind the two other rookies we have. So I'm fine with Ford. But yeah, Judkins really impressive. This will be an interesting game this week. We'll see what happens, but yeah, I don't know. So other things from around the league. Well, let's just talk about the punt again. While not a kicking, thank God the MVP of our team, Corey Bojorquez, did not get hurt, showing what a true absolute soldier he is to go back out on the field. Love that guy. And then also I think last week I was, knee-jerk reactions. We've talked about around the league how bad kicking's been. Smites. How do you say it?
What?
How do you say it? Schmitz.
Schmidt? I don't know.
Don't start on my pronunciation again. But
it's bad. Bounce
back game.
They definitely kept him on a short leash.
No pressure kicks. But, we saw it with Cade York. When things went south, they continued to go south. I would say the same thing with what's his name? Dustin Hopkins. So, started the Cincinnati game good, finished off really terrible this week, perfect. So, let's see what we got. He's a young guy, so, maybe that was a right call. So we move on. But again, around the league, Philly continues to look good. I'm 180 on this tush push thing. I think in the
It's
offseason,
stupid.
in the offseason, I was like, find a way to stop it. Everybody else can do it. You know what? I hate it. It's stupid. Let's get rid of this. It's a
Well, it's
dumb play.
stupid, and it feels like it just feels like a lawless. Like I saw a video. It looks like in the video, everyone's complaining, saying, "Oh, the Eagles went first." It looks like the Chiefs tried to go first, and then the Eagles win, and like the center ended up being the last person to move. Like the defensive tackle on the Chiefs was like punching the ball out of the center's hand as he's like before he even got it off the ground. Like the whole thing is just silly. It looks like every single person up at the line is offsides. Like, I don't understand. Like, if you want to have something designed like that, cool. But like, they're clearly someone defense or offense is false starting, and someone's offsides. Like their helmets are like crossing each other in the video. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like they need to like rein it in a little bit, but it is stupid.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know. I mean, whatever. So anyway, I don't know if I agree. Did you see the end of the Colts Chiefs game
Colts Broncos.
or Broncos? Yeah, that was a little bit of a
Yeah, that
nonsensical
was
call,
stupid.
but it was Broncos, and I dislike
Yeah,
them.
I'm
That was
all
a
for it.
bullshit call, but
Daniel Jones and
they
the
got
Colts are
jobbed.
2-0. The Sean Payton, Broncos head coach, he's like, no, that was a good call. That's the first time I've ever heard of a leverage penalty, and I think the definition is like you can't like use another player, like stand on another player, or something like along those lines to block a field goal. And to be honest, it looks like the Broncos just kind of jump and like maybe he bumps into a teammate and like kind of like boosts a little bit. Like I'm not calling that a penalty. And people said that penalty was called only 4 times last year. Maybe that's just something that they're trying to crack down on a little bit this year. I think it was a little silly, but also hate the Broncos. Whatever. I don't
yeah.
care.
Penalties around the league, and even in college, there were a couple questions. There was a questionable hold call on the Notre Dame game, but in the NFL, I saw a couple questionable calls. I will say, I think they're making calls quicker, and I think
It
the
seems like they're
replays are
calling.
quicker. But like even like the Flacco, was the personal foul on the
That was
like.
stupid.
So I guess I get the argument, but like, when have you ever seen them make that call on the field?
And then don't
Put
tell
y'all
anybody.
15,
And
line them
then,
up, and then reverse the call and move it back.
but
Never
like, don't
happens.
tell anybody. They're like, oh, they must have reversed it. They can do that in real time. Like, okay, first of all, I think the ref should like come out and be like, we're moving the ball, not just like, actually, Joe, get out of the way. Let me take this 15 yards back. But also, like, Flacco is sliding. He's clearly sliding. Like, he's not getting up. You can't fake slide like Kenny Pickett did in college. Like, he's sliding. So why are you hitting him? That's like he slides and you tap him. So honestly, I think that was a penalty. But I also feel like a lot of things that should be penalties are not getting called, but then things that shouldn't be penalties are getting called. So it feels like
Yeah.
they're all over the place with that.
That's a Bottlegate worthy call right there. It's time to start launching beer bottles on that one. That was frustrating, but whatever. So, well, any other highlights from the football docket, college or NFL? I really am disgusted with it. But I said my piece, and I really don't see any possible way we don't start the road to 15-2 starting this weekend. So we'll see. I don't know.
I think we got another month or so before we get a win. Except when is it? Not this weekend. We play the Packers. The weekend after, I think we got the Vikings. They look pretty bad.
Yeah. Is that on the
I
road?
saw a thing. It's in London, but I also saw a thing. I think that the Vikings are playing in London this week and next week, so they're staying in London the whole week. And teams that have stayed that week are undefeated in London. So not looking too hot for us. But they kind of got destroyed. JJ McCarthy looks pretty bad, and is he hurt? I'm pretty sure he's hurt. I think Carson Wentz is starting for the Vikings. So maybe we'll go 0-3 and then snag our first win in week 4.
We got to get off the schneid. I can't take much more of this losing. It's incredibly
I've
frustrating.
kind of just accepted it at this point.
You're a broken man.
I mean, like, what is I'm more surprised when we win than when we lose.
Yeah.
We're a bad
So,
team. I mean,
well,
I
there's
don't
one
know.
thing that a Browns fan can never be accused of, and that's selling your soul for a Super Bowl. So apparently, I don't know. But anyway, shifting away from football for a little bit. What are your thoughts? Guards surging a little bit. I think it's a little too late. What do we got? A couple weeks left.
I saw that they're 6.5 games back on the Tigers for the AL Central, and 6.5 games back, and they play the Tigers 6 more times. I think there's 13 games total. So hypothetically, if we beat them 6 times and then get another win versus another team, and they lose, so they lose 7, we win 7, but 6 of them are versus them, we're in.
What about
Or
wild
if
card?
they
The wild card's not as
I don't know. I
close.
think we're too far behind the wild card. I think that the AL Central is just bad right now.
That would be kind of hype if they ended up pulling off. I thought they made a couple of trades there, and we had the, for all practical purposes, suspensions. I don't know what they're calling them. Leaves.
The gambling suspension, like leave of absence.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of a wrap. They did not have a great summer, but that's the thing with the guards, they'll at least keep you interested. They're at least competitive. They're at least a fun team to watch. God, I'm waiting for the Brownies to turn into that for us, but maybe someday.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah,
I don't think
know.
ever.
But I could be in the mood. October is my favorite time of the year. I definitely love the fall. It's pumpkin spice weather, Halloween, sweaters, and a little October baseball. I could be in for that.
Playoff baseball is fantastic. I won't sit down and watch a regular season baseball game unless I'm at it, but I will watch some playoff baseball.
Top 5 sport moment as a fan would be like games on the TV, not really watching, or it's on the radio. It's October ball. It's in the evening, and just the cool crack of a bat for like a 9th inning or an OT home run. It doesn't get a heck of a lot better than that. So maybe we'll get lucky.
I personally believe that playoff baseball and playoff hockey are the 2 best. I don't think anything's better than that.
Dude, that's like a prize fight if you make it through the Stanley Cup playoffs. So, but we'll get in them in a second. But I will say, rocking the guards. Let's see if we can sneak in. I probably just jinxed them and they'll lose out.
Yeah, they're done.
They're all like
Nate and Rich are on board. Then no wonder the Browns haven't won a game since 2024.
So either the manager or some player on the guards kid's gonna be like, or significant other is gonna be like, yeah, did you hear Flagrant Foul was hyping you guys up, and then just instantly see their life exit their body as they go, we're not winning another game. The postseason just started. We're going home. So, yeah. But I'll give you a couple minutes. I know Dave's already turned the page to Dave, our boy. David C., America's favorite hero, was turning the page and moving on towards Cavs talk. Sneaking up really quick, hockey and basketball season. I mean, what do we got? 3 weeks? It's pretty close.
Honestly, I have no idea.
Yeah, we got about 3 weeks to that. Hockey season, we're getting real close. We're playing preseason games. Saw a couple notes around the league. Did you see Marc-Andre Fleury signed the 1-day contract to play 1 preseason game and retire as a Pen? That's kind of cool.
I did see that.
Cooler than I just signed for a day to retire. It's kind of cool that he's playing that game. So, I like that. There was some murmurs. I'm sure it's untrue. Whenever you hear a big name NHLer associated in any way with an Avs trade, there's no chance it's happening. But if I'm wrong this time and Kirill the Thrill Kaprizov were to find his way on the Avs roster, I would be pretty hyped about that. That would be pretty sweet. But yeah, we'll see. They didn't do a ton in the offseason. They did make some moves that I like. I think the Netchus thing's still sitting out there, but not necessarily any reason to move on that right now. I think where I might feel a little better, they definitely changed the complexion of that team in the second half of the year for the better, even though we had a first-round exit. But we're going into the season with probably the best goaltending tandem we've had in the
Definitely.
last 10 years, 100%. You got a healthy Gabe Landeskog. You got a Valerie Nichushkin from Jump, who seems to have his head in the right place. You brought Ivan, Parker Kelly, what's his name? Who's the other Finn we just re-signed that I've been hyping up all year? Played for Dallas. No, the guy we re-signed that was on the team last year. Why am I completely blanking on his name? But again, I think our bottom six
I
has
don't know.
got some. Our bottom six has got some talent. Brock coming back. When Mikey on there, I mean, I think you definitely got, the only major injury that we're nursing right now is Logan O'Connor, so the mayor of Denver will be back. He's probably gonna miss at least until the January. He'll be out, but that'll be a nice little spark plug. But all of that to say is, I think where we were chasing a better playoff spot towards the second half of the year last year, I think that we're definitely going to start better. Please, God, let the injury bug not bite us. And please let us get through the All-Star or the Olympic break healthy. I mentioned earlier, I'm kind of afraid of a few guys playing on that, but we're still a powerhouse team. I think Dallas is definitely worse. I think Winnipeg is as good. But Winnipeg's bonds in the playoffs, so I'm not super scared of them. I think Vegas got a little bit better, though Mitch Marner's not a postseason winner.
I don't
And
think
I
that
did
Mitch Marner
clamor
is
for
gonna
him.
change that much.
Yeah. But did you see Corey Perry? He had a big injury and is going to be out. Not that I think he's much, but the Kings are always scrappy, and he's always a contributing rat on a team. So he's on LA, so that's
He's a
probably good for us.
professional Stanley Cup loser.
Oh, yeah. If there was a Hall of Fame for being a rat and being a loser, he would be first ballot
He's really
easily.
good at being runner up.
Yeah. He makes Brad Marchand look like the most distinguished gentleman in the NHL. That's how big a rat he is. So, not a massive fan of his. And then what's his name? Okay, I'm forgetting too. Who's my boy that played for Tampa, played for the Blues, played for Chicago, retired last year? The big boy. I know you're thinking of three
Eric
times Stanley
Johnson.
Cup. No, 3 times Stanley Cup. He didn't play for us.
Oh, Fat Maroon.
Yeah, Fent Maroon. I think, signed back on in Tampa as some in some sort of office role.
I saw he was
So
like
that's kind of
playing
cool.
in some league with his son or something like that,
Hey, that's
or
cool.
like coaching. I don't remember what he was doing. I saw him doing something in another league. The guy
I
you
can
were
get
thinking
behind that.
of, Kiviranta,
Yes.
right?
How,
Joel.
let me just take a moment to apologize to Joel, my man Kiwi Rana, because he was an absolute dog last year. So, it was I apologize for missing his name, but I don't know. So moving away from sports talk for a minute, and Nate and I spent a lot of time talking about flight travel that I'm not going to do today. But it occurred to me on the way home that also at pandemic levels, we need to discuss driving right now, and specifically driving on the highway, and just the complete lack of consideration with people. Absolutely cannot stand driving anymore. So apparently, for everybody who, at 16, when they were all excited to get your driver's license and you read the book front and back so that you could pass your written test and on your driving test, there's some new things that apparently are how you drive now. So, number one is you drive as close to the car in front of you as humanly possible, because there's no chance anybody's switching lanes. We're like slot cars. Whatever lane you get in, that's it, because you're just never gonna let anybody over. All right, and I'm back. Little technical difficulties. It wouldn't be a Flag on File podcast if we didn't. And apparently the internets didn't want to hear me complaining about the road anymore. But you know, uh the bottom line is people are inconsiderate anymore, and I can't stand it. If you're in the left lane, you go at least the speed limit. Otherwise, you get to the right, okay? If you're in the right or the middle lane and I'm not going fast enough for you, you get into the left lane. It's pretty simple rules. What thoughts on this subject, Nate?
I do appreciate your calm, cool, and collectiveness of this whole topic because every day when I call you on my way home from work, you're just losing your mind to say the least. It's nice that you've taken some time to collect yourself and gather your thoughts.
Well, quite honestly, when I'm behind the wheel, I've been described as a cool cucumber. Ice water in my
Okay.
veins, not a lick of road rage in me. I'm just as
Yeah.
calm as they get. You know, I've
Yeah.
contemplated, I've pondered, I put some thoughts down. I did voice to text to get my thoughts down, make sure I could capture all this completely. And made sure that I was giving the proper due diligence and time to this subject. But yeah, I can't stand it, and I think it speaks to a wider pandemic of just people being inconsiderate and a me first attitude. And for one, I'm not going to stand for it. So, we've now carried over from the air travel to on the road. I guess, we're going to start taking trains places. What do you think?
I mean, I'd be down because when somebody is tailgating me, the most infuriating thing ever. Like, you're not gonna drive through me. There's speed cameras and cops and whatnot everywhere here. I'm not I'm not really interested in speeding and then paying for a ticket. I'm going like 5 to 7 over is my maximum. And when you tailgate me because I'm going too slow for you, that just makes me want to drive slower. Like, that makes me so angry when someone is just like right up on top of you, just trying to like run you off the road.
Yeah, can't agree. Hey, can you muzzle Claire Bear over there? She's getting rowdy.
Okay, in there.
She's all riled up as Claire Bears do.
As per usual.
Yeah, as per usual.
That's all she does.
But so speaking of getting angry about things, I need to know because how mad did you get at that game last week?
The Browns game?
Yeah.
I was more mad about Notre Dame just because they were so close. The Browns game, like you can't make this kind of stuff up. Like, they're a joke. I wasn't, not to say that I wanted them to win, but like just like be competitive and don't get embarrassed. So yeah, I was definitely upset, but I was more upset about Notre Dame. And speaking of embarrassing, something that scares me a little bit, Miles is like, yeah, it's embarrassing. Like, that tells me right now, like, it's already week 2 and he's crying. He's getting ready to like request a trade midseason and like not play and do something stupid. Like, they need to turn it around for the sake of, if you want to keep Miles happy, you need to.
Well, not to be all over the place and jump back in on this topic, but where's he been since he was drafted? Like, when you wanted to leave, you definitely signed that contract because you wanted to be the highest paid player at the time, right? You didn't actually believe when they told you we were doing things to turn us into a winner, right? Because why you're surprised? You saw the same thing we all saw in the offseason. But I will go one step further. Miles looked like, I've been critical of him taking off plays from time to time. He's looked like an absolute monster this year.
He has looked very good.
But where he is and where our trajectory as a good team is, I'm not saying we do it, but man, if somebody comes at you after we've already just trashed this season with some insane offer, I mean, I think it would be pretty hard to pass it up. I mean, you got
to think that he's looking at Micah Parsons in Green Bay and going, I'm better than Micah Parsons, and this dude is probably going to win a Super Bowl this year because he's got traded to a great team.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're the Browns and you go, hey, I think we're on the right trajectory, we might be a couple years out, we could get a lot for this guy, I mean, and
3 picks, and they take Deshaun's contract, which I don't even know if a team could take Deshaun and Miles. But if someone said 3 picks, we'll take Deshaun's contract and we want Miles, I'd be like, all right, peace out, bro.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's worth questioning. Yes, he looks like the best player of the league and in the league, and it would hurt. I don't know. You unload a lot of money you have to be paying. And to your point, if you unload him and Deshaun for picks,
that's a no-brainer.
You'd draft like Mad Men next year because you pay everybody. I mean, I don't
You
know.
draft, you sign, like we maybe actually have an off season where we sign some real people
You know,
instead of
and
like
uh,
picking up practice squad bums.
you know, you potentially, if you end up with a quarterback or you even end up with two guys like that are serviceable out of this year's draft class, you got them realistically cheap. You got Judkins cheaper than you would have, and you got Isaiah Bond cheaper than you would have. Great class. You have the money. I don't know. I think we're definitely worth a consideration. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we're talking about 15-2, and I'll just shut up in a few weeks. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But so, what else is on your mind? How's the week? How's the recent change to the new fitness place working out for you? Any
Um,
unsavory encounters, or is it all working out well?
there was actually a creepy dude walking around today, like just like trying to find people to talk to. I was hoping that he didn't come up to me. He didn't. But it actually made me very angry today. Every time I've gone, it's like there's been a lot of people, but I've been able to like do something and find stuff, like find something to do, basically. But today it was like every single person was at the gym. Everything was being used. If it wasn't being used, the second it got left, someone new came through. Like it was impossible to find something. I was just like making stuff up, bouncing all over the place, trying to find things to do. So it actually kind of infuriated me today. So I don't know. I'm not gonna cancel it. This was only like the third time I've been, so maybe it'll be different. Maybe it's just Monday at that time of day. Maybe I don't go on Mondays anymore, but it's okay. The fact that it's so close makes up for it, but I was getting angry today.
No doubt, no doubt. So, oh, well, what else on your mind? Anything?
Not really. I'm kind of hungry.
All right.
There's some football games on right now.
Yeah, my fantasy team is looking
I
decent, but I need to have a big night out of Mike Evans and Herbert.
I went 0-3 last week, but it's looking like we might pull off a 3-0 this week, so
Yeah.
it'll be great.
Well, 2 games on tonight, and then Thursday night game. Like we only have to stomach 2 days of no football, but I probably need those 2 days of no football just to
Yeah,
get my head
need a
right.
little bit of a detox.
Huh?
Need a bit of a detox.
Yeah. Well, let's hope for better things at the end of the day. Big D gave us a positive note. His boy, Ryan, 4-0, high school football team looking like an absolute juggernaut. So quick shout out to them. I should know the name of the high school. I will get the name of the high school. It's probably better we don't know, because if we're jumping on the bandwagon,
once we get on, their season's plummeting.
It could be a jinx, but you know, absolute budding stud in the making down there. So good luck to Ryan. Shout out, good job to them. Everybody else out in the flagrant foul listening land, stay cool. Let's pray for some dubs this week, and we'll catch you all next Monday. Peace out.
Combat beat kicks in crowd noise, whistle blows.